Plenty to discuss, so let's bring in foreign affairs analyst Dana Lewis. Dana, great to have you on the programme as always. So Germany vocal today there about its humanitarian concerns. Britain sending these unarmed aircraft for surveillance. I mean, what is your assessment of Europe's response to this crisis in general?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of confusion there, and as we would suspect, I mean, Europe in general is largely divided on just about every issue, and this is a pretty passionate one. So you have a pretty extreme range from countries like Ireland and Spain saying that maybe they should recognize the Palestinian state now, highly critical about the numbers of civilian casualties. Spain has said that it's unacceptable what has taken place. And that they've even accused Israel of carrying out a revenge campaign there, more than just going after Hamas, that in fact Israel is guilty of revenge killing in Gaza. But that's on the right side. I mean, there are many other countries that are supporting Israel. Germany, you mentioned. I mean, first and foremost, Germany, because of its historical past with Jews in Europe and the Holocaust, in which 6 million Jews were killed, has been very supportive of Israel. And the Olaf Scholz, the chancellor, was one of the first ones to visit. The same in Britain. Rishi Sunak, the prime minister, has thrown his weight behind Israel's right of self-defense and its right to go after Hamas and remove Hamas there. But, even the left inside the UK, as you may have reported in the past, has been split. The mayor of London came out and called for a ceasefire. The Labour Party has been split and had a lot of internal criticism on its leader's position of supporting Israel without limits. Others have said, no, you've got to call for ceasefire. You've got to stand up and talk about the humanitarian assistance. And there have to be humanitarian pauses. So the EU, probably the only area that you're starting to see some unity in, although it's hard to arrive at the destination, is the call for a journey to have an eventual peace process and a two-state solution. So there are many countries that would back that. But when and how do you get Israel to comply? All of that will be long debates in the future.
Sure, and the cracks that appeared perhaps when the war in Ukraine broke out have been exposed once again within the EU. On the wider danger in the Middle East, we know that the United States sent battle military ships there. The UK has done the same. The US, of course, doing that to try to prevent an escalation in the region. Now, during that 7-day humanitarian pause with the diplomatic drive, it felt like there might be some chance of a more permanent ceasefire breaking out. That's now ended. I mean, where do you stand on how dangerous this conflict still is for the entire region, for other countries getting pulled in?
I would say a couple of things. I mean, I've been in Han Yunis many times as a reporter, and I can tell you that is the second largest urban area inside Gaza, with over 200,000 people that were initially there. And then, of course, it was flooded with the 80% of Gazans, according to the UN, that were displaced in the fighting. But this is one of the roughest, toughest areas, recruiting areas for Hamas. I mean, it was the birthplace, I believe, of Sinwar, and then also of Mohammed Daf, the leader of the Izzeddin al-Qassam, the Hamas military wing. They believe that they are likely there. The Israeli intelligence has said in briefings to some correspondents that they think a quick way to bring about a hostage release is to capture or kill Sinwar. And they want him, and they are focusing huge intelligence resources on finding him and getting him. The other thing I can tell you, in northern Israel today, there was a very, very big military exercise up in the north by Israeli tanks, Israeli soldiers, thousands of soldiers said to be in that exercise. And it was a live fire exercise taken very seriously by the Israelis, because they feel eventually they will have an increased conflict with the Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, and they will likely have to take more action to stop the fighting from the firing from South Lebanon into Israel. Remember, all of those towns and centers in northern Israel are displaced. Many of the residents have had to leave. Israel won't live with that very long.
Dana, great to get your thoughts on the news. Thanks very much indeed. Good to speak to you today. Dana Lewis there joining us on TRT World.